Okay, good evening. We will get started. Thank you. Okay, we will call this regular board meeting for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024 to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please, Ms. Olson.
Director Bankus? Here. Director Carey?
Here.
Director Hafley?
Here.
Director Jorgensen?
Here.
Director Malpacum?
Here.
Director Nelson?
Here.
Director Ott?
Here.
All 7 board members are here in person. Thank you all for being here. Before we get into the There's a lot of people in the audience today, so which is good to see. We welcome our community members, parents, and staff to our board meetings. It's good to see a lot of our students out here as well. There will be recognitions as we go on through the agenda. As I mentioned, it's a packed boardroom with several of you out in the hallways as well. Since our November board meeting was virtual, we have several students, staff, and school recognitions that was pushed into this meeting. As we go into the night, some of the audience members may choose to leave after their item was addressed by the board. That way we can get other people in the room for their agenda items. There could be some movement in and out of the room, especially in the first several minutes. I appreciate all your patience and understanding as we proceed with the expectation of professional decorum and orderly conduct during the board meeting. Hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving break and got to spend some quality time with your friends and family. And we have 3 weeks of school before we break for the holidays and the Christmas break. We will certainly finish this first semester strong in the next 3 weeks. Before we get into the agenda items, I want to take a minute to thank the students that are in front of the board dais out here. Holmes Middle School, 8th grade orchestra group, and for their wonderful performance in keeping us entertained with holiday music earlier this evening. So give them a round of applause. So I think their teacher is also here, Miss Jennifer West. Thank you for bringing your students here. Would you walk up to the podium up there and share a little bit about your program at Holmes and anything that would be of interest to the board about your program and upcoming events and what's going on at Holmes?
Can I face this way?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I've been at Holmes for, this is my 3rd year at Holmes now, and I just love the community so much at Holmes. We have wonderful students. They are kind, helpful, and amazing musicians, and it's been just really great to get to be with all of them. So, and I want to thank all of my students for their hard work, and also all of the admin and the board for supporting the arts in District 11. We do have a concert coming up next week on Tuesday night, the 10th. So if you would like to hear more of Holmes Orchestra, you can come and join us at 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you, students. You can, yep. And thanks to the parents as well for bringing the students along. I'm sure there are a lot of really proud parents in the audience. Yep. Yep.
No, there they go. So we'll work it out. Yeah, we'll get them. Hey, Elijah, you're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, okay? Yep. Elijah, tennis player from Coronado. We'll call you.
Please join me as we observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Director Hafley, can you please make the motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Yes, I move that the Board of Education adopts the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The agenda has been adopted as presented. We will move to the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have Elijah from Coronado to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
You only have to say the first word, we'll all follow.
Thank you. So as I mentioned at the top of the agenda, we have several awards and recognitions this evening. Superintendent Gall, I turn it over to you.
Yeah, it's just so exciting when you skip a meeting in November to be able to pack a room full of student excellence and all the staff that support them. So we have a lot to get through, and we'll try and do this in the same way that we normally do. Try and get the certificates right for all the kids. We missed all the certificates for the boys and girls cross country at Coronado, so we just know we need you to run a little harder. Actually, what it was is there was so many we ran out of ink. And so we wanted to make sure that we'll get them to you all tomorrow. Go ahead, Melissa.
Thomas B. Doherty High School Spartan Legion Marching Band. Tonight we recognize the students and staff of the Doherty High School Spartan Legion Marching Band for their outstanding season. The Spartan Legion qualified for semifinals at the Colorado Band Masters Association State Marching Band Championships for the first time in over a decade. The Spartan Legion finished 12th place overall in 5A with a 73.85, the highest known score Doherty High School has seen since at least 2001. This season, the Spartan Legion faced many challenges, demonstrating resilience in the face of adversity as they reached their goal of competing in the semifinals. The Spartan Legion increased their score at every show they competed in this year, showing their dedication to the ensemble and willingness to continue to grow. We are proud of our marching band students' achievements during this year's competition season.
All right, perfect timing. And enter the band. Come on in, please. Angela, you want to tell us a little bit about your band?
Video.
This is the whole band at Doherty. No, they're actually at the high school right now. They're prepping for their performance this weekend at the Festival of Lights Parade, which you should totally come out, and when you see them, cheer, go Spartans. The band made history for qualifying in the top 12, which is known as a semifinalist qualifying rank for the Colorado Bandmasters Association State Championship. It's the first time we've been this good. We ranked this high last time in 2013. Their score was a 73.85, and the record goes back to 2006. We can't find the last time they scored that high. So we're really excited. About 100 members total, and tonight joining them at parade practice is about 40 students from Russell, Sabin, and Jenkins middle schools. So they get to put on a green shirt, put on some lights, and march down with the high schoolers. We're really excited about that.
Awesome. Big round of applause. Any seniors? Okay. Who wants to be a spokesperson? Oh, there you go. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you love about the band.
Titus Butler. I've been in marching band for 4 years, and I've been doing just music in general since 4th grade, so about 8 years. This is my senior year, and it was just a really good experience doing band. I was really happy all the time whenever I was with the band. It was fun. I met so many incredible people. I had so many incredible experiences, and I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about other people. So it was a really good time. I'm really glad I did.
And best marching band director in the entire.
100%, best band director ever known.
Thank you all. Congratulations to you and all the other Spartan band members. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks. You get the rest of those next time. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's sweet. Awesome.
Boys tennis. Coronado High School Boys Tennis Regional Champions. We- We are thrilled to announce that the Coronado boys tennis team has triumphed, securing first place at the regionals against a competitive field of 10 teams. This victory marks a historic achievement, as it is the first time in a decade that Coronado has claimed this honor. We take immense pride in these remarkable young men who have consistently surpassed expectations and demonstrated exceptional skill throughout the season. Their unwavering commitment to excellence, not only to themselves but to their team, has been truly inspiring. We believe this victory is just the beginning of many more to come, and we look forward to seeing how you continue to shine on and off the court.
Coach? Tell us about your team.
Well, you just said it. They're a team. And in tennis, you can turn into an individual real quickly because you're on the court by yourself. And what I was most proud about these guys is they had each other's back, and they bought into the team concept. And they could have very easily been individuals, but they just love each other. And it all worked out good towards the end when we needed to peak at regionals as a team.
Great.
So.
Great. And who's the youngest? Any freshmen on the team? Sophomores? Who's a sophomore that wants to speak on the future of Coronado tennis? Gotcha. The future of Coronado tennis, Cougar tennis.
I'm excited. We can win state. We're losing a lot of seniors, but I don't think that matters. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
Big round of applause, everybody. All right, now I know they were ready to run down the aisles. The boys and girls cross country team, also from Coronado.
Coronado High School Cross Country Regional Champions. Congratulations to this outstanding team. To say this season was remarkable would be an understatement. These young men achieved first place in every state meet they participated in, secured first at regionals out of 13 teams, and earned an impressive second place at the state competition. Their achievements demonstrate that success is not an accident, but the result of dedicated effort, clear intention, and exceptional skill. We are immensely proud of your hard work and determination, and we are confident that each of you will continue to achieve greatness in all your future endeavors. Also, with outstanding accomplishments, winning many state meets and also regional champions, the Coronado girls cross country team.
Awesome. Big round of applause. Coach to coach.
Hello. I'm Lisa Rainsberger, head coach for Coronado, and this is Andy Potts. He's our other head coach, assistant coach. We collaborate. We're a team. This year, our mantra has been, we are a team of one. We were at a meet down in Phoenix, and we were watching Boys in the Boat, and it was very prophetic, or is that the right word? Profound or prophetic, that the little boy asked his grandfather, were you ever angry that you weren't in a single boat? And he goes, or were you ever angry that you were in a boat of 8 instead of a single boat? And he goes, no, I was always on a team of 1. And so we were watching that movie, and it was just like, oh, that's so profound, because we all season, we really have been a team of 1. And I started 2 years ago. This is my third cross country coaching, and we went from 11th to 4th, and this year we were 2nd in the boys division by only 5 points. And so as the boys were telling me just now, there's only one place to go, and that is up. And so, we've said all along, we want a new banner in the gymnasium with a victory for the cross country team. And the girls, first time we've made state, I think, in 10 years. And so for them to band together, be a team of 1, and to make the state championships is pretty remarkable and not to be overlooked. So really proud of these young boys and girls. And we're not done yet. We actually have a runner going to the Nike National Championships tomorrow morning, racing Saturday. He is the #1 sophomore in the country. He broke the state record imaginable, and if any of you know 5K times 1430 for his 5K, Oliver Horton. So we have a lot going on.
I'm going to ask Oliver to talk. Is that okay? Why don't you tell us what it means to be on the Cougar cross-country team?
It means a lot to be on the team. Everyone on the team is just a super good person, and we all elevate each other so much, and I enjoy being around these guys every day and just working hard with them.
Great. And can I get the girls' captain? Do we have a girls' captain? Awesome. Tell us who your name is and what year you are.
Mila Stamper, I'm a senior.
Okay, what are you doing next year?
I'm going to Regis in Denver.
Okay. Are you going to run for Regis?
Yes, yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
And what's your favorite thing about your coaches?
Um,
Is it the hill at Fillmore? Is that what it is?
Definitely Coach's Pits.
My pants.
No, our coaches are great. They're definitely going to be hard to top next year. They're the best of the best. So,
All
yeah.
right. Cougar Pride. Big Good luck. Good luck tomorrow. Saturday. Tomorrow. Okay, we're going to bring in the Mitchell and Doherty Unified Bowling teams together.
Mitchell and Doherty Unified Bowling. Give me the cue when you want me to start.
You can start now. Come on up.
Mitchell High School Unified Bowling Team. The Mitchell High School Unified Bowling Team took third place out of 7 teams in the 2024 regional competition, which punched their ticket to the CHSA State Unified Bowling Championship Tournament in Denver, Colorado. This unified bowling team was one of 28 teams statewide competing for the CHSA State Bowling title. The Doherty Spartan Unified Bowling Team, regional champions and state runner-up. The Doherty High School Unified Bowling Team had a banner year to follow their inaugural season. This year, the team won their region while competing with 6 other schools. Additionally, as a state qualifier, the Doherty Unified Bowling Team took second place in the state with a score of 622. This unified bowling team was one of 28 teams statewide competing for the prestigious CHSA State Bowling title.
Let's get one of the coaches to talk while I'm still handing out. I gotta go all the way over here because I misidentified our coach as a student. Why don't you tell us who you are and how long ago it was since you were a student?
I'm Coach Valdez, and it's been about 11 years, maybe. Yeah, this is the second year we've done our bowling thing, and it's been a lot of fun. Marissa, do you want to tell them a little more?
Bowling is fun, and we love to win.
There you go. That's good. Great job.
Okay, I had the good fortune of running into the Lone Tree Bowling Alley to see the just before the presentation was made. And I have to tell you that, is Chris Knoll here? Chris, come on up. You always do this all the time. You make me call you up. Come on up here. You know, this was just a twinkle in an eye about a year ago. And here we have our second runner-up in the state, and we have our regional representation as well. And it's not unified bowling. It's just unified. It's like District 11 is unified. So we procured a $70,000 grant for sports equipment from Unified. So that'll be let in January. On December 19th at Doherty High School, we have the Jamboree, where all the kids that play Unified basketball are going to get brand new sneakers to be able to do that. And it's not just Unified sports. at our 4 comprehensive high schools on Thursday and Friday. Please check their web pages. Our first ever unified theater end of semester celebration, where students will be participating in our VAPA opportunities, and some of the programs are great. They're basically all Disney Pixar movies, and who doesn't love a good version of Toy Story? So I want to give a chance for our coach at Doherty to have a word as well.
So this was our second year at state. Our first year was just something kind of magical. We didn't really know what to expect, and it was a great experience. And then this year we brought in some new players, and they just really did a great job. At Doherty, we embrace we before me, and these 2 boys really kind of just showed the we before me attitude. And it was just great getting to see all the kids grow as people.
Thank you all. Thanks. Exit on out. Thanks. There's a little confusion going on with seats right now. We still have schools coming in to do school spotlight, so the reserved seats are still reserved. I'm sorry if that was miscommunicated. We want to let those students and families be able to celebrate the great work of their schools. I think that concludes our awards and recognitions. All right, awesome. Thanks.
So,
No, we're fine. That's fine. Say so.
well, a lot of excitement out there in the hallway celebrating our students, so it's good to see. It's always good to see our students competing in regional events and state events and winning accolades and championships. So congratulations to all of them. Congratulations to the coaches and their schools as well. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, it's District 11 Spotlight. And today we have the STEAM and the STEM programs in District 11. Superintendent Gall.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have our celebrations from Bristol, McAuliffe, and Sabin now joining as our first middle school STEM pathway school. I want to talk just a little bit about the idea of pathways. This was a decision the board made probably 4.5 years ago on trying to meet the choice demands of an ever-changing demographic of students and families. And the commitment to pathways, no matter how I slice the data, always turns out to be one of the strongest decisions that the board has made. Not this board, previous boards as well. Enrollment is up consistently across those schools. Achievement is up consistently across those schools. And the way that they're leading the curricular changes across the district on this idea of using your experience to find your excellence and driving student agency is something that you'll see on display here. So without further ado, if I could have the School Spotlight team come forward and start their slideshow, which I think is my cue to Brett, who's moving as quickly as he can.
Yes, and we have our team from Bristol who's being recognized in just a bit. So they're coming up too right now. They were in a different room, so we've got a few people headed up. But with that said, I will invite our kiddos up here, along with, yep, come on up. Come on.
All right, different order, I guess.
Yes, that's it.
All right. How's it going? All right, well, thank you for having us. I am Gabe Hamill, Principal of Bristol. I'm here to represent the STEAM pathways of Bristol, McAuliffe, and Sabin. So we have 6 students here, and they're going to be doing some with you a little bit later. So one thing about STEM is that I think we can agree that it gives the students an opportunity to engage in cross-curricular STEM activities, right? And so if we look at our graduate profile, if you think about STEM, it's create an academically ready student, continuous learner. So when we are doing a STEM project in whether it's STEM lab or in the classroom, the students have to continuously learn and improve and redo their project. A skilled communicator, they have to work with each other and communicate with each other, and then also have to present their project afterwards. And working with each other is one thing, but then presenting is a whole different thing, kind of like me up here not doing very well, right? So they were trying to teach them to do a little bit better than their principal. Then empowered citizen. So with that knowledge and the knowledge of the world around them, it can help them be an empowered citizen. Innovative problem solver, again, that's back to the engineering design process. Healthy and balanced learner, so continuously learning in the mind. Critical thinking, that's a huge part of everything to do with STEM. So think critically about what you're trying to create, what you're learning about, making up your own opinion about everything that you hear and learn. And then empathetic collaborator, so this is something that we work not only in STEM, but everything in elementary, probably middle and high, is being an empathetic learner, empathetic to other people around you. All right, so we have some Sabin Middle School students here. They're going to talk to you about what a pulley is before we get on to our next part.
Hello, everybody. A pulley is a type of simple machine. A simple machine is a device that makes it easier to do work, direction, or weight of a force. The 6 types of simple machines are a lever, wheel, and axle, pulley, inclined plane, wedge, and screw. Pulleys can lift, lower, and move loads much easier and faster than we can do with our own hands. The load is the weight that is being lifted by the pulley. A pulley has 2 main parts, a string or rope, and a wheel. The wheel has a groove that goes all the way around it. The rope fits into the groove. There are many real-world uses for pulleys. For example, pulleys are used to move elevators. They are also used to raise and lower the flag on a flagpole. Cranes are another example of a pulley that is useful for building skyscrapers.
Your challenge is to work with your team to build a pumpkin pulley to help transport the pumpkin to the giant pumpkin way off. Your pumpkin pulley must contain both a wheel and a rope or string to lift the pumpkin. When you have finished building, you will test your design to see if it can lift a mini pumpkin 12 inches off the ground.
All right. Ready? So, bring it to this side over here. And then Hazel, you bring it over here. Okay. So, as you're passing out this stuff, we're going to have 4 board members over here. You're going to work on constructive pulley, and then Mr. Gall and these board members have to do it over here. All right, so we're going to have a couple of call-up students ask a question first. Not yet. Not yet. No race yet.
How will you construct your pulley so that it is able to pick up the pumpkin?
What possible problems could come up during construction?
All right, so the students are going to go around. They're going to help you guys if you need help. They've all done this already, so they can help you a little bit. Oh, no cheating yet. No cheating yet. That's just if you need a cheat sheet. All right. Got me. So you have 5 minutes to construct a pulley to lift up the pumpkin. You guys can go around and Ellie, go ahead. You guys pick a group to help.
Come on this side.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and start.
Mr. Gall, you gotta help him. You got it.
Go up there.
Oh, it's right here.
Failure's part of the game. But it might work. I was there for 6 years. Come around.
We only have 5 minutes. So here's another.
What I did was first I put this on.
Just gotta lift the car.
Oh, really? Look at that.
So we need some of that.
Cut off.
That was the task. Was that not the task?
Take it to the basket.
We're almost done.
They're already done over there? Are they already done? We're not looking at cheat sheet. What? Did you see them? Oh, come on. Where your finger is? Yeah, right there. How much? Just get like a good bit so we can pull it over. You need more. Yeah, right there. Okay, and then I'll tie this together. You're going to make a basket? Yeah, we're making a basket. Oh, you had Thomas.
Good job, guys.
One more.
Thank you.
Blow it up.
Do you guys want to take this?
Alright, so part of the whole screening process is also asking questions, right? And so the Bristol students are going to ask a couple questions here.
How do you think you did as a team?
Yeah. All right, Ellie.
What about your design worked well?
Breaking pencils.
So changing, instead of using the basket,
We just tied some knots around it and called it a day.
perfect. Hey, the goal is to lift the pumpkin. All right, so as you can see here, we have just some pictures of the students. They were practicing this before, actually it was before the snow days because we were supposed to do it on the snow day, but so it was a while ago. All right, any questions from you guys before we get to our next part?
Board members' questions, Director Jurgensen.
how often do you guys do projects like this in the STEAM program?
So they do it in the classroom, and then they also do bigger projects in the STEAM lab, and they go to the STEAM lab once a week.
Okay.
With it going in there, that we are incorporating reading and writing into that, so a nonfiction fiction book as much as possible. And then we're also doing the engineering design process. Depends on what it is, but they do projects where they have to collaboratively work together.
Cool. So pretty often.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'd echo that for McAuliffe. I would say on a fairly regular basis, our new primary science curriculum this year's Project Lead the Way, so it is all project-based elements there. And then again with some of the other crossover pieces, so STEM theater, some of the different pieces where they're also doing projects like that as well.
Any other questions?
Dr. Carey.
I'd be curious to hear from a member of the kids team. In the context of doing science, do you think failure is a good thing, a bad thing, and why? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I would say it's a good thing sometimes, like 50-50.
Ellie, do you have anything to say?
I would say if it's like something new and no one's ever done it, failure could be a good thing because like today I had STEAM and we read a story and she failed to build the robot. She failed to code it, but then she coded it after to do anything that it like wanted to do because before it almost destroyed the city.
Hey, can we have the students introduce yourself real quick? I'm sorry, and tell them what grade you're in.
Okay. My name is Hazel, and I am in 4th grade. My name is Ellie, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name's Logan, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Braylon, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Coley, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Lennon, and I am in 7th grade as well.
All right. Oh, I thought we had something else, but no, I thought we were going to introduce teachers too.
Yeah, I'll do that next.
Oh, you're doing okay, cool. All right, well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Gabe, give me a quick. Oh, don't steal my bully. You're going to come up here. You're going to come to my chair.
So moving
Ellie.
on to the
Ellie. Braylon.
Moving on to the next item on the agenda, it is the superintendent's report. Superintendent Gall, back to you.
Okay. One of the most exciting things to do is to see our students learning live and in action, particularly in our pathways, whether it's visual performing arts, outdoor education, Montessori, our language school, and you saw our STEAM and STEM. Kids having the chance to live in the learning, you can see the learning come to life. Nothing can replace that, and once you ignite the fire that you've seen in these children, and we'll talk about our robotics team at Sabin in a minute as well, nothing's ever going to stop those kids, and that's our goal. We appreciate all our staff and our families' support to get there. This is my favorite part, where I ask students to come up here and give that same thanks to their teachers. Braylon, I think you are up first. You get to sit right here and talk right into that and tell everybody what's so awesome and tell everybody what your teacher's name is.
Okay. I'd like to shout out Miss Matasevic because she is really creative and really nice to everybody. And I really like her because she's so creative and nice.
Awesome, thank you. And Braylon and Miss Masaic are from McAuliffe, who are here as well. So, Ellie, you're next.
I would like to shout out Miss Gilliam. She is my gifted and talented teacher, and she really helps me with what I'm gifted and talented in, and I've had lessons in gifted and talented reading and gifted and talented math with her.
Awesome. And are Lennon and Coley still here? Come on up. Were either of those teachers in the audience? Could they please stand? There's Miss Gillum. And where was Miss Mosaic here? Oh, stand up and
Stand up.
so everybody can see who you are. You guys doing it together? Okay, go ahead and sit down or stand with her. We'll say something nice about Mr. Smith.
We're shouting out to Mr. Smith. He's our GMP science teacher, and he's always really fun to be around, and he jokes around a lot, and it's really fun to be in his class.
Awesome. Go ahead.
I'd also like to shout out Mr. Smith because he is like, I'd say the coolest science teacher I've had in a while. So that's saying a lot.
Awesome, thanks. Mr. Smith couldn't be here tonight, but we appreciate his, particularly his glasses, keeping his eye safety. Going on with our agenda here is Susan Forget still here, and any members of our robotics club that did our prelim administration. There we go, here they come. I was over at Sabin yesterday as well. Why don't you all come up to the podium here for a second, kind of lift those bots up high and show everybody the great work you did. And Susan, if you and Ms. Ridden can come to the mic right and give a brief summary of all the great things that are happening at Sabin. And then you can have one student spokesman would be great too.
Hello, I'm Susan Forget, and this is my assistant coach, Carrie Ryden, and we really appreciate you honoring our kids. So this is year 4 at Sabin for having a competitive robotics team, and we have our Alpha, Bravo, and Delta team here right now. As far as Pikes Peak Robotics League, these folks are running up at the top. So we're just at the beginning of the season. We have a lot of competitions, in fact, one on Saturday. It's been a really fun program for these kiddos. We also at Sabin now are running a vertical articulation of robotics. So Ms. Ryden is teaching 6th grade robotics with the VEX IQ system, and I teach the VEX V5 system with the 7th and 8th graders. And we have 2 sections of robotics, and we feed nicely into Doherty, and some of our kiddos do go to Coronado. But we really appreciate your support through CTE. It's the only way we've been able to make this happen, so thank you, folks.
Great.
I don't know if any of my students, let's see, but John Michael, real quick, if you want to come up here, say something.
Lift up the microphone.
The microphone? Okay. I'm John Michael Johnson-Tierez. I'm the project manager of the Alpha team. And I would say robotics is pretty fun for the most part. Yeah. So I really enjoy the designing of it. I feel like it's the most satisfying part. So we sketch it first, plan, brainstorm, and then we build out the design. Then we iterate it to make it better. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm the project manager for Bravo team named Aiden. Something I like about robotics is that we get to code also. We get to code our robot, how we want it to run and autonomous, and how the controller will work for the driver controlled period during competitions and skills.
Awesome. Great. Thanks to the Sabin robot. You got one more? Susan, you do go for it. There you go.
One last team.
Hey, I'm John Weaver, and my favorite thing about robotics is the building and design of it, because you need to prepare your build for the competition, and once you do, you'll have enough stuff to actually compete.
Yeah. As the Sabin team is leaving, I want to comment and thank Susan for the chance to visit the class yesterday. That was a delayed visit. It's not just engineering. I want anybody that's watching to see that there's the graduate profile, this idea of teamwork and collaboration and critical thinking. Some of the students are literally just studying the rule book, because it's a competition, and if you study the rules, you'll see that there's strategy that you might be able to change the outcome that you might not have been able to get in the engineering. But the way you play the game is just as important in how you build the equipment to play the game. And so it was just a real pleasure to be in your class and to see it. And Susan's being very humble and talking about vertical articulation here in the 6th grade. She's also working very fervently to build that articulation up into Doherty High School, and just took a bunch of kids from Sabin over there just today, I think it was, you were there, and just came back with, like, kids are already signed up. Choice window opens December 16th, so we're ready for you at Doherty. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. And speaking of Doherty, if we can get the Doherty High School flag football team and coach to come on forward. Do we have them queued up? They're going to come running in here? There we go. First one who grabs a flag wins. You can't catch these girls. So this is our first year for flag football, and this is a league that's sponsored by the Denver Broncos, and Coach Pearson was acknowledged as by the Denver Broncos as the Coach of the Week. So, Coach, why don't you tell us all about the program and our great students that we have here?
Hey, well, thank you guys for having us tonight. We had the opportunity to put this team together once CHASA announced it back in April that it was going to be an official high school sport. And one of my senior captains here that I have, Alyssa Ramos, went around that day with a sign-up sheet and got, I don't know how many girls, 18, 19 girls that wanted to play signed up. So she was sort of the building block. And then I got the chance to come in during the summer to start the program and hit the ground running in August with the girls. A lot of the teams that we had played against and the Denver teams had played for the past 2 years in the league that was sponsored by the Broncos. We hit the ground running with a lot of girls that had never played before. I didn't know what I was going to get into, and I was blessed with an amazing group of young ladies that were out there working hard, incredibly coachable, that led us out there on the field. So yeah, I got the Coach of the Week award, but as I told these guys when I got it, it's really it's a team award. That's how I viewed it. It's a testament to what they did, their hard work, and their determination is what led us to our success. And yeah, we were successful on the field, but more than anything, and this came through in our end of season meetings, when I asked them about highlights, things that they really enjoyed about the season, they talked about the culture, they talked about how well they supported each other and how well they got along. And to me, that's a huge sign of we had a successful season. Yeah, we ended up on the positive side of wins and losses, but the fact of the matter is we've got girls that want to come back. They want to play next year. There's more girls that want to come out because of the experience that some of these guys had this last year. So I'm excited to keep building and growing this program at Doherty.
Okay, how about one of our students want to tell us about flag football?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a feeling. This was my first year playing flag, and it was amazing. These group of girls were amazing. I would recommend this experience to anybody. Like how much fun we had, how serious we took it at times. It was great. Like everybody overlooked it. Men, mostly people in general just don't think like girls are capable of doing a lot. And just seeing girls play football, they're like, wow, who are these? So it's awesome. And just to show our talent, there's different talents, different athletes. I'm a basketball player. We have softball players, track athletes, girls who've never played. And just seeing them do it, it was crazy. It was awesome.
And what's your name or what grade are you in?
I'm Alyssa Ramos. I'm a senior.
Great. And how about the three of you also come up and just introduce yourselves?
I'm Santi Keys, and I'm a junior.
Awesome.
I'm Brooklyn Dorrance, and I'm a senior.
And then I'm Neela Thompson, and I'm a sophomore.
Okay. Future captain right there. Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Catching up from the snow day, we didn't get a chance to cover this, but it's central to the strategy of District 11. On October 29th, we hosted an apprenticeship fair over at our Wasson campus. What was significant was two parts. First of all, we had over 350 students come through from each one of our high schools, and we had over 24 employers outside of District 11. So District 11 started an apprenticeship program last year where we hired our students to get them career path training opportunities inside the district. This year already we had 25 external partners who came to the table to offer opportunities for our students. As an example, we had an extension of this fair where we held our first semi-annual auto draft day, where local dealers come down to our auto tech CTE pathway programs, and we had half a dozen kids who are hired now as seniors with jobs into the very lucrative field of auto mechanics. And so hats off to particularly to Melissa Smith and Dwayne Roberson and every other teacher that has supported this program. Apprenticeships, partnerships, and internships is the way that we're going to bring our kids back to high school by giving them the relevant experience that the real world is asking for them while they're getting the requisite experience of what we need to deliver according to the state. So it'll be a great combination. I'm going to go pretty quickly here to try and save some time, but keeping with an update each week on or each month on our ABCs, I just wanted to tip a hat to our team at Swigert. They've been tracking their cell phone incidences, and you can see in August there were a lot of incidences across a large number of students. But by having a really intentional plan that they share not just in the beginning of school and the end of school, but also in passing periods and in classroom observations, they were able to drive that down to just 10 in a school of a couple hundred kids in November. And so that's supporting our educators to make sure our children are on task. And what's really exciting is every one of those kids at any one of our middle schools that is quickly adapting to this will make that transition in high school even easier as they go into high school in the forthcoming years. Hats off to Principal Ray Cockrell and her team at Swigert for that great work. And it's super exciting to now take, which is actually an agenda item for the board to finally vote on, but we wanted to get the principals back to their sleep patterns for work tomorrow. So we have our schools here accredited with distinction and performance. This is an increase in the number of schools we have last year, and I want you to just really look very hard and see that we have schools of all shapes and sizes from all parts of our city, and I really just, it's remarkable to call out two schools at over 90% in Chipeta and Taylor Elementary School. So I think we have a little system here where they're going to come in, we're going to unroll a banner or take a picture and move them right out. So I think here they come.
So we have Bristol Elementary School with a school performance framework of 75.7.
Okay, way to go, Bristol. Woo! All right, I love it. Chipeta comes unrolled and ready to go. Squeeze in, get close.
So Chipeta Elementary School with the highest district school performance framework of 91.8%.
it's gonna come.
Freedom.
Here it comes.
We have the mascot.
That's the way. Whatever they say. Flying in, Falcon.
Freedom Elementary School with a school performance framework of 74.6%.
Thanks, great job.
King.
Here for King.
King Elementary School with a school performance framework of 79%.
Is there like a big K for King? You go out that way. We got a little system here. Systems and structures. Step number 1. See. Bring it on in for Madison. Woo!
Madison Elementary School with a performance framework of 75.2%.
Green Bomber!
Queen Palmer with a school performance framework of 83%.
Hustle and heart sets us apart. Dream team. 3 steps and oh yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah.
Let's hear it for Rudy.
Rudy Elementary has a 74.7% school performance rating.
This is definitely a better view. Let's hear it for Scott.
Scott Elementary School with school performance framework of 88.4%.
Don't let it ever hit the ground. It's like the American flag. Take it away. Scott. All right, let's hear it for Steele.
Steele Elementary School. And their performance framework was 88.2%.
All right.
Taylor.
Taylor.
91%.
All right, and Thomas McLaren.
%84.9%.
Okay, I think we're almost getting caught up here.
Congratulations to all the schools. That's such an amazing distinction that you get to celebrate with your community.
Okay, we're going to end the superintendent spotlight by the superintendent's report by introducing a new theme that we'll carry through the rest of the year. It is always so much fun to recognize the programs that you see when our students come forward, particularly when they celebrate our staff. We've really been thinking about some of the strong work that the district has invested in, and you saw earlier on the STEM slide the graduate profile. And so what we're trying to do for our high schools is to bring the graduate profile to life. And so today we're going to bring forward Tatum to the podium for her to tell us a little bit about her experience. You can read in there, but just to summarize, Tatum serves on a state level board for one of our career and tech student organizations. It's called ACE, but she represents not just her school, she represents the needs of students all across the state of Colorado, which we think is one of those ways that it doesn't really matter what's on her transcript. She's demonstrating that she's exactly what we hope every graduate can be. Tatum, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the ACE program?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tatum, and I'm a junior, and I'm a representative for the SC Squared program at Palmer. And so far, this experience has been amazing, and being a D11 student has provided me with a variety of opportunities, from CTE to sports to IB classes. Through SC Squared, volleyball, wrestling, and track, I have been able to grow as a leader and bring those skills into the classroom. The skills I'm learning in the classes I get to take are helping me to be prepared and graduate and be successful after school.
Can you tell the board what the ACE program is and how it's impacted you or other students that you know?
Yeah, the ACE program is really focusing on post-secondary workforce readiness programs. So it's really focusing on career paths and your interests. So it's very personal.
And tell them a little bit about SC Squared and how it's unique to the state of Colorado.
Well, I'm actually very, very new to this program. Ms. Green, my ACE teacher, she said, she gave me this with a week's notice, but I think it's just mostly focusing on students who don't know what they want to do after school.
Yeah. And so one of our goals in completing the graduate profile is give the kids the chance to figure out sometimes what they want to do, but also sometimes what they don't want to do. Sure. Now's the time, you heard it in the STEM profiles earlier, failure doesn't mean that you're not progressing. Failure can be a very important step for our students to graduate and become a part of our community as global citizens.
Sure.
Anything you'd like to close with, Tatum?
No, that's okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job. That's it.
Well, thank you, Superintendent Gall, and thank you for all the students presenting. And it's also really good to see that the incidents for cell phone policy or the violations of the cell phone policy are dropping in our middle schools and high schools as well. Whenever we visit some of our high schools, it's really great to see our students engaging with each other as opposed to sometimes this taking their life over. So, moving on to the next item on the agenda, it's public comments. Ms. Olson. So I think we have several public comments. Going over the board protocol for public comments, just as a reminder, the board welcomes and is very interested in listening to community feedback, as it helps us better do our job. Please approach the podium when your name is called. You have 3 minutes to deliver your remarks. Please monitor the clock that is on display and complete your comments in the allotted time. Board meetings.
David, people can flow in and fill the seats now. Thank you.
Okay. Orderly, guys. Orderly. Okay? Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So just as a reminder again, board meetings are primarily business meetings for the orderly and efficient conduct of the business of the district. Keeping that in mind, the clear expectation is that your feedback is provided in a civil, professional, and courteous manner without resorting to disparaging or defamatory remarks. Students are often in attendance or watching our broadcast. Speakers' remarks, therefore, should be suitable for an audience that includes minor students, including no use of profanities or obscenities. To adhere to the board policy and accomplish the work already on the agenda, the board will not respond to comments during this time, but I can assure you that your comments will be taken into consideration as we discuss pertinent agenda items. To maintain the flow of the meeting and not have prolonged interruptions, please refrain from clapping. If you want to show support or solidarity to a speaker, please stand as the speaker is talking or use a silent applause. Lastly, the statements made by the public do not reflect the views of the board or the district. Okay. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Let's get through this in an orderly fashion. The first comment I have is from a D11 student, Michelangelo Cruzen. Michelangelo Cruzen. Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, board. My name is Michelangelo Cruzen. I'm a junior attending Palmer High School. I'm also a female-to-male transgender individual. Sadly, I am back at this podium for the fifth time since the start of my freshman year for the same issue. Policy Draft ACA, name changes, is required by law. I'm not here to speak on the existence of the policy. I'm here due to a single sentence that I will now read. Parents shall be notified of their student's chosen or preferred name change request, and any chosen or preferred name changes on student records shall require parental consent. This sentence is found near the top of Policy Draft ACA. Now, the last part of this sentence makes perfect sense, but the beginning, the part about notifying parents, is the part that people are taking issue with. Informing parents or outing students could very easily put them in dangerous situations for no real educational value. If what I'm about to say upsets you, I'm not sorry, but there are transgender students in D11 schools. Off the top of my head, I can think of 15 high schoolers, and many of these students see school as a refuge from their home life. My legal name is Michelangelo, but at some point in time, my name was legally Lorelei. Yes, like Gilmore Girls. For 15 years, in fact, my name was Lorelei. When I first tried to come out as transgender, I was outed. The same thing this policy threatens to do to students. Now, even though I have an accepting family now, I fell into a deep depression. And went back in the closet for nearly a year. I'd like to mention that at no point during this time did I question the fact that I'm transgender. I was just very depressed due to the careless actions of the people that outed me. This policy threatens to do the same to many D11 students who may not be fortunate enough to be given the acceptance I did. I remember a time when D11 was a place for students like me that don't quite fit the mold. And D11 was somewhere we could be safe. But that world is gone, as D11 becomes more and more unaccepting of its LGBTQ+ students, and we are being treated like unwanted members of the community. That your website claims to accept everyone. I urge you to either remove the clause about informing parents or state that a student must, in no uncertain terms, tell a teacher that they will be going by a different name, and the teacher must inform the student that their parents are going to be informed. I ask that before passing policies that will harm the safety of members of your D11 community, you slow down and think. Think about how all students and teachers in the D11 community will be affected, and if this is what's truly best for them. I hope I'm not here again in January when this is an active agenda item. I'm also in full support of the teachers union. Keep the master agreement, do better D11. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please refrain from clapping. Thank you. The next comment, Maria Bergman. Miss Maria Bergman. Go ahead.
Good evening, Board. My name is Maria Bergman, and I'm a D11 resident. I'm here tonight to ask that you let the master agreement with the Colorado Springs Education Association expire. D11's master agreement contractually demands that the far-left teachers union have shared decision-making power in the school district. As a consequence, for over half a century, the D11 board has been bought and bullied by the union as public education decays, academics circle the drain, and enrollment tanks. And yet, despite this failure, the union has kept its dominant hand over education across the country and here in our own district. In 2021, our community was fed up with the spiral our district was in, and we put your vision in the majority. In 2023, to the tune of almost $500,000, the union attempted to buy it back. They failed. And now their master agreement is set to expire under a board that prizes quality education above appeasing union bosses. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. About 20 years ago, another academic-minded school board sat where you sit now. But when it came down to it, they could not stare down CSEA's intimidation and make a change. We have the chilling benefit of hindsight. We get to see what that decision cost. It took 20 years of D11 continuing to fail again and again its students and its community to now get us back to that day in the early 2000s. So when the lies and the threats come to their loudest, I pray that you have the courage to do what that board could not do and end this agreement. So do the thousands of children who will never know your name, but will have you to thank for the fact that the next 20 years in D11 look nothing like the last 20. 27,000 people put you where you sit for such a time as this. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, please, let's keep this moving and let's be civil to each other. The next comment is from Mr. James Kanabi. Mr. James Kanabi, please introduce yourself. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
That's okay. I've been called way worse by my students at times. So my name is James Kanabi. I thank you for your time this evening. I've been a resident of Colorado Springs for over 30 plus years. I've been a teacher in District 20, District 11, and District now 49, helping them out as well. I remember the days back when D11 used to be just top notch. They would rival D20 and Cheyenne Mountain High School as well. And a simple question that you guys asked earlier to some of the kids, is failure a good thing or a bad thing? And I heard it and I listened, and it's yes, it's both, and we know that. Okay? Have we had many great people come out of all these school districts in our community? Yes. But over the past 20 years and more, I've seen D11 schools to servicing too many students. As a professional and student and teacher and parent in the community, I'm asking you not to renew the master agreement with the Colorado Springs Education Association. I've experienced districts that have master agreements and those that don't. And what I do see, those ones that don't are free to innovate. They have the ability to do things that not being controlled by the unions. In my professional opinion, D11 has been held back greatly over these past 20 plus years and not given the freedom that they need to do because of this master agreement. D11 is held accountable to the union, but no one mechanism which is theirs to hold the union accountable. They have carte blanche in many ways. This prevents the district from paying teachers more to those harder to fill jobs, and we know they exist, and so we now then have to take what we can get. The results of a half century of the contract are in, and myself and many in the community are not impressed with the results overall. It's time for something new. So, as we know, public education works best when the school districts are put into the hands of the public, the voting constituents. So in short, I ask you, please do not review this contract. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Lisa Schott. Lisa Schott.
Good evening. For 24 years, I have proudly dedicated my teaching career to District 11. My focus areas in library, STEM, and science have led me to work with teachers in other districts, and it is clear to me that the working conditions provided by my master agreement are a step above what my colleagues experience in their districts. As a teacher who is deeply committed to the success and well-being of our students, I would like to emphasize the importance of a master agreement in reaching this commitment. A master agreement clearly defines the expectations, rights, and responsibilities of both educators and the school district. It's essential because it provides clarity and consistency for educators. When we are supported by clear, consistent guidelines, whether it's about workload, professional development opportunities, or the resources available to us, it allows us to focus on what matters most, working together to meet the diverse needs of our students. Maslow's hierarchy exists in the workplace. Meeting basic needs such as job security, stable work hours, clear policies, a safe work environment, and health benefits are what teachers need to thrive. Taking it to the next level, when we are adequately compensated, have manageable workloads, receive the necessary professional development, are part of a collaborative team, we are empowered to inspire, support, challenge, and grow our students. A book I have recently read, Different Kinds of Minds by Temple Grandin, has me making several connections to my workplace. About collaboration, she mentions the best way to encourage people to collaborate is to give them the time to learn each other's contributions to the big picture. I want you to think about like going and observing somebody, walking in someone else's shoes, going and looking at what's happening in our schools. In a section called Communicate to Collaborate, she discusses outcomes from a study with like-minded versus different thinkers completing a challenge. While both groups completed the task, the different thinkers had better collaboration and better and more creative results. I liken this to having teachers and administration coming together over bargaining to solve the challenges we see. Our unique perspectives make our solutions stronger. She talks about engineers and mechanics, suits and techies, architects and engineers, each group having a distinct approach to tasks and how their approaches can complement each other. One story is about the Marine Corps engineers and mechanics who were each given a pile of junk and were told to make a working car in a certain amount of time. The mechanics made better cars. The explanation is because of their working in the trenches, this was their day-to-day experiences, gave them the quick thinking and let's try it attitude. I would replace mechanics with teachers in the district setting. These examples confirm what our master agreement does. We have different groups coming together, collaborating on issues. It's not about us versus them. It's about working together to create a stronger, more vibrant educational community. Thank you.
Thank you. Please. Okay, thank you. I again request that we maintain professional decorum. If our students can model professional decorum in the boardroom, the adults can do it as well. Mr. Caleb Kimball. Caleb Kimball. Okay, moving on, Mr.
Tim is on the other side.
What's-
They're making jokes out here. Oh.
Okay. So Caleb Kimball is not in the room, so I'm moving to the next one. Mr. Kevin Coughlin.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to share with you what CSEA has done for my teaching career. I grew up in District 11. I graduated from Palmer High School. After graduating from Colorado College with my master's degree, it was a great disappointment to me that District 11 did not hire anyone for my elementary cohort. It's sad to me that I had to start my career in a neighboring district. After watching the D2 approach of destroying the union and firing 400 plus teachers a year for multiple years, I knew I needed something different. So I came back to my roots and I found greatness in what CSEA and the Master Agreement allows teachers in District 11 to be part of. I had leadership opportunities and positions that were not offered to me by the district, but were possible because of my union. I have been part of numerous committees, task force, building committees, boards, all focused on important decision-making and improving student outcomes. The rights and the voice that our union recognition has given me have made a huge impact on my teaching career as well as my life in general. I have the opportunity to support and make a difference in the lives of thousands of children and families in this community. I spent a large portion of my career in District 11 as well as my life as a student. I earned many different grades on report cards. I got science fair awards. I got ribbons, certificates, solo and ensemble medals, mock trial awards, the most outstanding vocalist at Horace Mann in 7th grade, and even a D11 high school diploma. These were all opportunities and examples of when D11 recognized me. Fast forward to my adult life and my professional career in this district. How does my union recognition improve my life and my profession, you might ask? By being recognized. When I finally felt recognized again as a leader or just someone who wanted to become a better educator, it was CSEA, our union, the teachers, all together that gave me what I needed to be a professional. I was given the opportunity to negotiate for fair and transparent salary. I was able to stand up and voice my experience in shaping our workplace rights and responsibility. I was recognized as a leader and reminded daily how important a teacher's voice is in the decisions that are being made inside and outside the classroom. My union recognized what great student outcomes were happening in my classroom, and when a parent submitted my name for recognition at our state level union, I received the 2020 Golden Apple Award. I've been part of my local union board of directors. I was nominated to be on the CEA board of directors, and now I'm the president of CSEA, our District 11 union, where all teachers are important. Recognition. Our union and master agreement are important to all the members of the bargaining unit. Our rights, which improve our working conditions, improve the outcome of our students every day. We believe the recognition of our union allows teachers' voice to protect our desire to advocate for the needs of our students and our profession. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sharon Simpson-Dagan. Sharon Simpson.
Superintendent Gall, Dr. Mel Packham, and members of the board, thank you again for the opportunity. Will you do me a favor and just acknowledge by shaking your head, yes or no, these two statements? Language is important. The message should be transparent. When we look at the D11 website, we see possibly manipulative language that sets readers up to expect one thing, when in fact something else is occurring out of sight. What's being set up is slightly more than a year-long endeavor. We saw a campaign that was losing until financed to the tune of hundreds of thousands of outside dollars and made slick for a school board election. If we're looking at all of the shiny objects, we don't see the sleight of hand. We are being led to believe that only the best intentions for teachers are at heart. Well, let's look at those points. Transforming support for teachers with advanced coaching. Well, coaching has occurred and has changed over time. Collaborative spaces, old idea and reconfigured. Top salaries, they exist now and were fought for by CSEA. They could morph into a less fair structure. Protective policies to foster innovation, excellence, and student empowerment. Protective of whom? The master agreement or contract between the board and the local union of teachers protects those ideals to a greater degree than do policies that a board can change easily. You know who is at the intersection of parents, teachers, D11 residents, and you. It's the students. They were the focus of the D11 school board that co-created the first contract with D11 Teachers Union. We've seen a certain board member wave the contract in the air while proclaiming this is standing in the board's way. Of what? Of providing supportive working conditions so that teachers aren't treated like chattel? Of ensuring academic freedom for professionals who are highly qualified in their content areas, of a fair pay scale that honors the knowledge and experience of the veterans while allowing the novice teachers a decent wage with opportunities for all to apply for stipended positions? Or is it standing in the way of the board's hiring non-educators at inflated pay rates, of the board's imposing unnecessary restrictions that will instill fear and hamper a rich educational environment? The board and the union, teachers, are not adversaries. Every person on the District 11 board should be working for the school district instead of for the interests of outside partisan donors. Smart adults should be able to sit around the negotiation table and work in a respectful manner that results in a better contract for all and education that impacts affect as well as data. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson
Hoskinson. Jackson Hoskinson.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Jackson Hoskinson, and I am not speaking about the union today. But I am the school advocate at Inside Out Youth Services. You may remember me from a couple meetings ago. I came to speak to you about policy ACA in House Bill 1039, offering recommendations to ensure this policy supports all students and staff in being their authentic selves at school. We know that students learn best when they feel safe and supported, and I appreciate the district taking the time to carefully consider how policy ACA will impact students' safety and their ability to be authentic at schools. As you discuss this policy moving forward, I urge you to keep the following key points in mind. 1, simplicity is essential. Colorado law already affirms a student's right to use their chosen name. Policy ACA should do nothing besides making accessing this right straightforward without unnecessary hurdles, bar legal challenges that could come from that. 2, to avoid logistical burdens. Overcomplicated processes with lengthy forms or mandatory parent meetings waste valuable time for students, parents, and staff. Teachers should focus on teaching and students on learning. 3, prioritize student safety. Many LGBTQIA2+ youth face challenging home environments and feel safer at school, a testament to many of the wonderful teachers who are working hard to make sure their students are affirmed and learning in their classrooms. Policies requiring parental notification can put students at risk of violence or shelter insecurity. We know many of the youth at our center are experiencing homelessness or houselessness because their family has forced them out of their home. If a student is feeling safe at school, they should be able to communicate that with adults in their lives before being outed forcefully. Students are capable of managing their conversations with their parents and any other guardians on their own volition and do not need the government or a school board intervening. Finally, collaboration is key. Inside Out Youth Services is eager to provide further data, examples, and stories to help shape inclusive policy ACA. I myself have requested a follow-up after this meeting, so I hope I can meet with some of you to provide recommendations on how to make sure this policy is inclusive for all of our students. We welcome opportunities to partner with you in this effort. Thank you for your commitment to creating a safe, supportive environment for students and teachers. We hope we can ensure that D11 schools are a place where every young person can thrive. I'd like to remind any young people watching Inside Out Youth Services is a safe haven for you, no matter what you might be experiencing at home, at school, or otherwise. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. James Saylor. James Saylor.
Thank you, President Malpacum. I'm James Saylor. I was a 15-year
teacher of the German and Japanese languages at Mitchell High School. I asked the board to let the master agreement with CSEA expire. The CSEA Teachers Union is not a part of public government. It is a non-elected private corporation. The D11 School Board has been bargaining away the authority of the citizens to the private corporation CSEA for 56 years. Bargaining away the authority of the citizens is the school board's choice. There is no law that requires it. In bargaining, the school board creates a special right for the union bargaining team to participate in the most important decision-making over D11. As the board creates no such special right for the citizens of D11 have become second-class citizens. The master agreement is more than a contract for services. Article 5 expressly gives the agreement precedence over the school board. This violates a foundational principle of American public government, which says that a private interest should not have authority over public government. Article 5 gives the agreement precedence over school principals. Principals cannot lead the faculty adequately. Just 2.5 hours per month in 2 meetings of 1 hour, 45 minutes each, not nearly enough to lead so complex an institution as a modern public school. Nor can they lead the teachers and the parents together. Teachers are not backed because the principal doesn't have the authority. Parents are not informed. It is every teacher and parent for him or herself. When their students do not achieve, the adults mistrust each other. Teachers pay the nearly $1,000 dues of the private corporation CSEA for protection from the principal and the parents. Positive adulthood in our schools has been lost. Allow this 56-year-old contract with a non-elected private corporation to expire. On behalf of all the citizens of Public School District 11, reclaim your constitutional authority. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zach
Krabel, Zach Krabel.
Thank you, President Melpackham and members of the board. My name is Zach Krabel, and I'm an attorney residing in District 11. I have been asked to speak tonight on behalf of several District 11 teachers who have chosen not to be members of the Colorado Springs Education Association. While they wanted their voices to be heard, these teachers are concerned that speaking publicly before the Board of Education might provoke reprisals or harassment from some CSEA members within their schools. For this record, these teachers do not support the CSEA, the CEA, or the NEA. They are not aligned with the efforts of these organizations to promote left-leaning candidates and causes using membership dues. These teachers don't believe the CSEA should be using public schools, resources, and personnel access to promote their political platforms or ideologies. These teachers have shared troubling accounts of union-related activities occurring during school hours. Specifically, union members have been promoting CSEA petitions and postcards, often in aggressive and persistent ways. Teachers who declined to sign these materials were repeatedly approached, creating a workplace environment that felt pressured and uncomfortable. This behavior is particularly concerning because it is happening inside taxpayer-funded public schools. In addition to these in-person actions, these teachers have expressed alarm over the intensity and frequency of social media posts by the union in recent months. These posts have urged members and non-members alike to demand that the board renew the master agreement. One such post concludes, quote, "The fight has just begun," end quote. In at least one of the union's contract organization meetings, attendees were informed that the union plans to, quote, "generate a crisis and a credible threat," end quote, to force this board to back down if it doesn't renew the master agreement. I understand at least one personal threat has been sent to each of you by a member of the CSEA. This type of rhetoric, combined with the reported actions inside schools, has created a climate of fear and intimidation across the district. I would urge this board to carefully evaluate whether the master agreement serves the best interests of students and their educational outcomes. 16 out of 17 school districts in our county operate without a master agreement, and most of these districts outperform District 11. Statewide, more than 75% of school districts function without such agreements. As an attorney, I'm particularly concerned with Article 5 of the Master Agreement, which appears to grant the union significant authority, potentially exceeding that of this elected Board of Education. In its newsletter, the union stated, quote, "Our contract gives us the right to teach controversial issues, given that the lesson is age appropriate. Our contract allows us to determine instruction appropriate for our students," end quote. This framing suggests that the governing authority is the contract itself, not this board. For 56 years, previous boards have ceded significant rights and authority to the union through successive agreements. This moment presents an opportunity for you to reclaim those rights and fulfill the responsibilities entrusted to you by voters like me in District 11. I urge you to assess whether this master's agreement in its current form contributes to the performance and development of our students. If it does not, I respectfully recommend reconsidering its renewal or renegotiating terms that prioritize educational excellence and fiscal responsibility. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Ms. Stacy Adair.
Good evening, members of the school board. As a teacher in District 11, I'm here tonight to address an issue that has been at the forefront of much debate in our community: the role of the CSEA, Colorado Springs Education Association, and its influence on our district. I've been reflecting on my position, and I'd like to share my thoughts with you. Let me start by saying I understand the need for protection in our profession, and I value the safety and support that an association can offer its members. That's why I am thankful to be a member of the American Association of Educators for $20 a month. As I consider my role as a teacher in this district, I've come to a few conclusions that I believe are worth sharing. I might consider joining the teachers union if it truly spoke for all teachers, regardless of political alignment, but it doesn't. I might consider joining if the union did not regularly spread misinformation, like when it mischaracterized the superintendent's plan from 2 years ago as pay for performance, when it never was. I might be more inclined to join if the union didn't use teachers' dues to support politicians whose actions conflict with the values of many of us teachers. For example, the union has supported policies that limit parental rights in education. That isn't right. I might consider the union if it focused on issues that affect all of us, like student behavior and discipline. The most recent bargaining points hardly touched on the real challenges teachers face today. In fact, the union rarely seems to advocate for meaningful changes that improve our work environment and the environment for the students. I might consider joining if the union were more transparent, especially about its finances. It collects over $1 million annually from D11 teachers alone, yet it operates as a private entity with little accountability to the very people it claims to represent. Ironically, despite its criticism of capitalism, the union itself runs a business that generates a massive profit. I might consider the union if it weren't pushing controversial agendas like supporting the sexualization of children with inappropriate library materials or advocating for laws that allow boys into girls' bathrooms and locker rooms. I believe we should be focused on educating and protecting children, not promoting divisive policies. But most of all, I might consider joining the teachers union if it focused on the real issues that teachers face every day, like student behavior, academic standards, and classroom management. Instead, the union has supported policies like restorative justice, which often disrupts the learning environment and harms our students' futures. I am not a member of the union because I fundamentally disagree with their philosophy and the way they operate. This organization, which is a powerful outside force, has a significant influence on decisions within our district. That's not fair to non-union teachers, nor is it fair to the families who don't share the union's political views. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Larry Langston. Larry Langston.
good? Okay. I just speak into it and we start? Okay. Tension's pretty tight in here. In second grade, my teacher goes, if I had 8 oranges and 10 apples in the other hand, what would I have? And this second grade student, myself, said, you would have big hands. Yeah, it's true, you would have big hands. But that wasn't the correct answer she was looking for. But she did give me credit, because I was right. And then the other joke I have is, how does an ocean say hello? It waves. It waves. All right, let's talk about teachers' unions a little bit, because that's what I was supposed to talk about. Teachers' unions, they do a lot of good things. More pay, more benefits, better working conditions, organized and experienced in defeating legislation. On the other side, they're a very powerful lobby force, probably one of the most important ones in Colorado. There is no parent organization of similar size. Parents have no organized voice other than the school board, who they elect. And I thank you guys very much for spending your time doing this. Teachers' unions on a whole are greatly opposed to charter schools, which I can't believe. And in this county, one of the best charter schools we have is just right down the street, Vanguard. I don't know why they're better. They just get better scores. Maybe it's the students. I don't know. But I want to reflect on a kindergarten teacher that I had a long time ago. She's been teaching for 69 years, and it's her love of teaching is why she teaches. It's not about the pay. And one of the number one things she says she likes is seeing her students progress, grow, and achieve their goals. And she still compliments me every once in a while on Facebook. I can't believe it. I mean, kindergarten, I'm 65 years old almost. But teachers, unions is an unelected, unaccountable private organization. Unlike this board, which is chosen by the voters of District 11, the union operates without direct accountability to the public or the district's teachers as a whole, entrusting significant decision-making power to an external organization undermines the authority and responsibility vested in this board by the community. I want to thank you for your attention and for your dedication to serving the students, teachers, and families of District 11. I trust that you'll carefully consider this important decision in the best interest of our district. And I have 2 sons that are graduates from Doherty High School. And I want to thank those teachers that got my sons through there, because my one son, he never would have graduated without his math teacher and English teacher. And I got 2 granddaughters also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly McDonald. Kelly McDonald. Yeah.
Do I hand these to you guys? Okay, great. So I missed the memo. I'm not here about unions. I'm here about public school food waste reduction. So bear with me, I guess. So good evening, members of the board. My name is Kelly McDonald. I reside in District 11 and am a current MPH student at the CUNY School of Public Health. I'm a parent to an 8-month-old, so I'm tired, who will eventually be a student in this district, and I'm passionate about public health and nutrition. Thank you for allowing me to present today. I'm here to advocate for your support of Bill B, Colorado Public School Food Waste Reduction, a vital piece of legislation developed by the Colorado Youth Advisory Council. As this bill progresses to the Senate, it is crucial that local education providers like District 11 not only voice support, but also prepare to implement its recommendations once enacted. Food waste is a significant environmental and financial issue in our schools. On average, up to 40% of food in the U.S. and approximately 42.9 pounds per student in Colorado goes uneaten. Much of this waste ends up in landfills, generating methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Schools play a key role in this problem due to the volume of meals prepared daily. By implementing proactive policies to reduce food waste, we can position District 11 as a leader in sustainability, fiscal responsibility, and student education. Bill B encourages schools to implement food waste aversion and diversion initiatives such as composting, share tables, and partnerships with local nonprofits. Share tables, for example, allow students to return unopened whole food items for redistribution, ensuring these resources serve their intended purpose, feeding students and others, not landfills. According to data from D11's poverty rates for 2024, an average of 78.82% of students in this district experience poverty. These efforts reduce waste and address insecurity among students, a growing concern in our district. Additionally, the bill provides for the Colorado Circular Communities Enterprise to support schools through grants, funding, and technical assistance. This will allow District 11 to build a comprehensive, cost-effective program while ensuring compliance with food safety guidelines and protecting school personnel from the liability during redistribution. The environmental and financial benefits of this legislation are clear. Short-termly, reducing food waste will lower greenhouse gas emissions, conserve resources, and save energy. In the long term, it will promote sustainable land use, climate resilience, that's a hard word, and healthier communities. More importantly, students learn more about sustainability and can engage more as a community. Moreover, funds currently spent on waste disposal can be redirected towards critical educational needs such as classroom materials, extracurricular programs, and professional development for staff. To maximize the benefits of this initiative, I urge the district to take proactive steps such as preparing to apply for grants, identifying and training staff to apply for available funding once the bill is enacted, and piloting a share table program. Start small at 1 or 2 schools or identify best practices and challenges before scaling district-wide. Partner with local nonprofits to establish relationships with organizations. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. So that gets us to the end of public comments. Thank you all for being here and sharing your thoughts. The board appreciates your feedback. If you checked the box asking a district administration to contact you, someone from administration will follow up and contact you. And again, I appreciate the professionalism exhibited here by all the members in the audience. Thank you. Okay, we have a group exiting the boardroom. I'm just giving them a minute to exit the boardroom. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, board member reports. Board members, reports that you want to share at this time. I don't see anybody. Okay, I have Director Art.
Thank you. I know a couple of us at least were able to make some of the plays and other performances that the district students had in their schools, and they are still ongoing. I know Palmer has performances on Tuesday and Thursday. Unfortunately, their choir concert is the same night as our next Palmer Town Hall update, but maybe you can attend a little bit of both. That might be of interest. And we have you here. Okay, we have the principal here who says she can do them both. But also our unified, we celebrated unified bowling today. We have the first unified performances in every traditional major high school happening in the next couple of days and also next week. So if folks are interested in that, I assume we have that on the district website, and check it out. It's really, it's important for our students, and it's really heartwarming performances to see. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else from the board members for board member reports? I see Director Hafley.
Just to piggyback on Director Ott's comments about unified bowling, I had the extreme pleasure of going out to Peak Bowl several times to see these kids bowl, and I'm telling you, they could whoop any of us. And it was so fun to see them out there. You guys, they make this bowling ball for them. Oh, thank you, Melissa. They make this bowling ball that has a handle to it. And when kids swing that bowling ball, the handle pops back into the ball, so it doesn't affect its roll. I mean, science. So it's awesome, and you can see the pictures there that we took. These kids are amazing, and the people that support them even more so. So if you have an opportunity to see anything unified, it's not just bowling. Basketball's coming up, and the theater performances are coming up, and I understand that track is on the table as well. So find something that interests you and head out and support these kids. They're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback, Director Hafley. And the best thing when you go and see these events is the joy in the kids' face. They have so much fun while winning state championships at the same time, as we recognized earlier this evening. Anybody else in board member reports? I don't see anybody else in the board member report, so I'm going to wrap up with my comments, and I'm going to reflect back a little bit. Last week was Thanksgiving week, and as millions of Americans do at this time of the year, I took some time to reflect and be thankful for the many blessings in my life, both my professional life, my personal life, and also the public service part of my life. And I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about for in my time serving on the board. I'm starting my 6th year on the board. The first 2 years during the midst of the pandemic, the last 3 years, really blessed to serve as the board president. Sometimes those 6 years, going into my 6 years, that feels like an eternity, exhausting at times, but rewarding and fulfilling as well, especially when you see our students thriving, as we saw earlier this evening. Improved student outcomes is always the overarching priority. And serving on the school board, there is no greater obligation than to ensure every student is grade level proficient and prepared for success. So it was very alarming coming out of the pandemic in 2022, the state of the school district. Enrollment was down. 15 schools were on the state watch list as PI or turnaround schools. And these are the schools that are categorized as underperforming. 65% of our students were not grade level proficient in English, reading or writing. A whopping 75% of students were not grade level proficient in math. Honestly, as elected officials, we were failing our community. Fast forward 2 years, this is where we are. The DPF, which is the District Performance Framework, a state score that is assigned to every school district and measures the overall academic performance, has improved from 47.1 to 51.4. First time in 5 years that D11's District Performance Framework is above 50%. We improved 3.9% in the DPF this last year from 2023 to 2024. That's 3 times more than what was expected from CDE, and the second highest jump in district performance framework for urban school districts in the state. And if you go to the next slide, Ms. Olson, thank you for running this. And these show the number of schools in 2022 that were on the state watch list, and those were performance. If you look in the far left, in 2022, we had 33% of our schools on the state watch list. Fast forward 2 years, we have 6% of our schools on the state watch list. Only 3 schools, at the elementary level, Adams, Galileo at the middle school level, and Mitchell still remain on the state watch list. 15 to 2. And while at the same time, if you look at the performance schools, we had 47% of our schools at performance. Now we have 70% of our schools at performance. And we recognized several of those schools as performance with distinction earlier this evening. We are, as Superintendent Gall used to say, growing the head and shrinking the tail. And these are the 32 schools categorized as performance schools this year. And we need to do the work to catch the rest of the schools as well. The schools in gold are the schools that were newly added as performance schools at the end of the state testing this year. Steady improvement. Some schools, when you look at the CMAS student proficiency rate in English and math, I told you 65% of our students were not grade level proficient in English, and that was in 2022. We are steadily improving that performance proficiency of our students both in English and math. Still, I would be the first one to say that considerable amount of work needs to be done. The work is not done, but we are progressing in the right trajectory. And we cannot rest until each and every single student is performing and set up for success. But the trajectory that District 11 is headed in is upwards. We have more academic choice and pathways for our students. We have state-of-the-art track and field at Dorothy, Coronado, and Mitchell. Palmer is set for a $100 million renovation. Promise scholarship at Pikes Peak State College for every D11 graduate. We focus on peak experiences outside of the classroom for our students through internships, apprenticeships, study abroad, and CTE opportunities, some of which Superintendent Gall talked about in his superintendent report. I am proud of our collective success over the last couple of years. And the board, honestly, has only a limited role to play in it. As stewards of taxpayer dollars, we have the responsibility in budget decisions, and we have directed the district's limited funding dollars closest to students in the classrooms and set the overall vision for the district. But the unprecedented growth and student success is to the tireless efforts of our staff. It starts with Superintendent Gall, who has been there for every step of this journey when the board hired him in 2022. His administrative staff that are lined on both sides of this room, the principals in our school buildings, and of course our teaching and administrative staff. Any teachers in the room out here? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. I know there were a lot of teachers in the room previously, but they had to leave to prepare for next day work, taking care of our students. So the success of what is happening is a reflection of all your hard work and commitment. And what the culture that we have right now in District 11 is rooted in accountability and excellence. Each one of you leaning in and lifting our students up for success and providing opportunities for our students that they did not have yesterday. As we go into this holiday season, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. My colleagues on the board dais for demonstrating courage by taking tough decisions when necessary. Superintendent Gall for always prioritizing student success. The administration leaders for leaning in and supporting schools. Teachers and support staff for ensuring that you are preparing and delivering high quality instruction in every single classroom. Parents for your partnership in our journey to excellence. Thank you. We have come a long way in 2 years, and the journey is still the journey is just beginning. But with your help, we will achieve excellence in D11, and D11 is poised for success. Thank you. And that's the end of the board member reports. Moving on to the consent items in the agenda, Director Jurgensen, can you please make the motion to adopt the consent items?
I move that the Board of Education adopts all consent items as designated in the agenda. The consent items are D2, approval of November 6th, 2024 regular meeting minutes. D3, approval of November 13th, 2024 special meeting minutes. D4, approval of November 20th, 2024 special meeting minutes. D5, personnel recommendations, December 4th, 2024. And D6, approval of district-wide closure due to inclement weather. Excuse me.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Director Venkis? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson? Aye. Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The consent items has been adopted as presented. Moving on to the action items on the agenda. Director Nelson, can you please make the motion for action item E1, Board of Education priorities?
I move that the Board of Education adopts the revised Board of Education priorities.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now, the board has considered this board priorities and reviewed this information at the work session and again during the October 2nd regular board meeting. Board members, we have just to talk to the audience and also the people at home, we do have the new board priorities that are on the banner up against the wall out there. Board members, do you have any comments before I call for roll call? Okay, I don't see any comments, and I will be brief on it. The overarching board priority is improved student outcomes. Everything that the board does is through that lens of improved student outcomes. That's our North Star going forth, and to the community, hold the board accountable to ensure that we are delivering on that promise of improved student outcomes. Accountability is something that the board values over and over again. So please, when schools are underperforming, as I pointed out earlier, it's the responsibility of the elected public to come and hold us accountable for ensuring that our students are receiving the best instruction and also performing as you expect us. With that, roll call, please.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The board priorities has been adopted as presented, and I encourage the board members that before you exit the boardroom, that you take time to sign the board priorities banner up there. Moving on to the next action item on the agenda. Director Bankus, can you please make the motion for action item E2?
I move that the Board of Education accredits a school performance framework ratings based on the recommendations submitted by the administration and the District Accountability Accreditation Subcommittee for the following schools: Bristol Elementary, Chipeta Elementary, Freedom Elementary, King Elementary, Madison Elementary, Queen Palmer Elementary, Rudy Elementary, Scott Elementary, Steele Elementary, Taylor Elementary, and Thomas McLaren.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We already recognized all these schools earlier this evening. Superintendent Gall.
Yeah, I just want to recognize those schools again. Some were prepared with staff because they were part of the spotlight. Some were not. We moved that to the front to be able to make that celebration quickly. This is not only a significant part of what we do as a district in relationship to the state, it's in relationship also to what the DAC provides for us, because they make this specific recommendation with distinction. And so I think as just to re-stamp President Malpacum's comments of now having 70% of our schools rated at performance, you know, the prediction is that schools with distinction will also continue to grow. As we talk about how far kids are still from state we have to continue to think of the building as a whole. And now it's 70% of our schools at performance, and now nearing a dozen of our schools at performance with distinction. As soon as we get that to over half, then we know we'll have be almost complete on our mission. So hats off to those leaders. There are Title I schools, there are big schools, there are small schools, there are schools from every one of our regions in our city there. And if you look at them, those are our leaders who have been here and have continued to put the time and the dedication into their staff, their family, and their students, and so thank you to them.
Comments from board members? Seeing none, the one comment is kudos to all these schools, but when you look at the list of the schools, it's all elementary schools. So my challenge, my gentle nudge should be that we have more secondary school representation going forth in the performance of the distinction category. Moving on to the next, roll call. I didn't call.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The board has adopted the recommendation submitted by the administration and the District Accountability Committee. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. This is a contract item, modification to existing power school contract. Director Carey, can you please make the motion for action item E3?
Absolutely. I move that the Board of Education approves contract modification
C2021-0007-03 to enter into the enterprise solution with PowerSchool. The period of performance is January 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2031, with an additional 5-year term extension option for the entire PowerSchool ecosystem solution. The new annual cost on July 1st, 2025 is $2,444,388.
Moved and seconded. This information was presented to the board during the November 13th work session. Superintendent Gall, any additional information?
No, but I would like to acknowledge our PowerSchool partners who made the trip and the team that's continued to work on this, contracting, IT, CRO, and beyond.
Up here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the partnership. Any additional questions? We covered this at the work session in significant detail. Board? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson? Aye. Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The contract presented to the board has been adopted. Moving on to the next item. Thank you. Thank you for being here. There is another PowerSchool item up here. Director Ott, can you please make the motion for action item E4?
Yes, I move that the Board of Education approve a general fund contingency transfer in the amount of $316,236 to support the purchase of an enterprise license with PowerSchool.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Again, Superintendent Gall, any additional information?
No, just the budget requirement to complete the previous motion and action.
Director Bankus? Aye. Director Carey? Aye. Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson? Aye. Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The contingency transfer has been approved by the board. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, Director Nelson, can you please make the motion for action item E5?
I move the Board of Education approves this general fund contingency transfer in the amount of $211,388 to support the purchase of 2 White Fleet school buses.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Dr. Comfort, looks like this information was presented to the board at the August 7th regular board meeting. Additional information.
Yeah, good evening, board. This is a mere request for what we presented in early August. If the board recalls, the Fund Balance Task Force, which was assembled through the district a number of years ago, identified the purchase of White Fleet as one of the items that they wanted to fulfill. We sat in 2 years of PO limbo as we could not get those vehicles delivered. And so we have finally, right before Thanksgiving break, they delivered the final 2. And so this is now the contingency transfer to take the money out of the general fund contingency back into the fund balance to pay for the intended purpose.
Thank you. Any questions? Director Bankus.
I just can't recall, where are we housing these buses?
They're housed out at transportation.
They have a transportation.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Director Bankus?
Aye.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The budget transfer to White Fleet school buses was approved by the board. The next item on the agenda is mill levy rate certification. Director Jorgensen, can you please make the motion for agenda item E6?
Yes, I move that the Board of Education approves the 2025 mill levy rates for certification to the El Paso County Treasurer.
Second.
Moved and seconded by multiple board members. I think this was presented previously at a board meeting, but the data at that time was incomplete, and you have the data that you need. And walk us through it, Dr. Comfort.
Yeah, thank you, President Malpacum. That's okay. We did bring this, if the board recalls, a little out of sequence for what's usual. We brought it in projection form back at the end of October. What I will say is the finance team's projections were nearly spot on. We are within probably 15 cents of the potential tax impact per $100,000, so I'll go over that in just a second. Just as a quick reminder, to the board, we are in our second year of some new tax rates, as well as some property assessed value reductions based on the assessed value increases that we saw last year. And we are also back on the original timeline of needing to certify our mill levy rates by December 15th. And so my dollar figures in the projection were more whole numbers. I believe we had a $6.30 estimated impact at the $200,000 rate, and you'll now see that it's $6.62. The amount that we are getting in additional funding went up very, very slightly by $30,000 or $40,000. This is taking a 5.2% inflationary rate on our 2017 MLO. Remember, that is the MLO that gives us that ability. The 2000 MLO does not have that ability. And as a reminder to the board, we will take that money, which is recurring money, and we will run that through the Mill Levy Oversight Committee, and we will bring that back to the board with recommendations on how we use that money. That's it. Yep.
Thank you. Any questions from the board at this time? Seeing none, thank you for the presentation and the update and the accurate figures now, so our taxpayers have an idea what is coming up in the near future. Roll call, please.
Director Bankus?
Aye.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The board has approved the mill levy rate, and we look forward to the recommendation that comes from the Mill Levy Oversight Committee as far as the expenditure of these funds. Okay, we move on to the non-action item on the agenda, designation of official posting location for Board of Education meetings and notices. This is an annual agenda item required by state statutes, and the posting is right outside the boardroom. That's what that is. Is there any additional information we need to know, Ms. Sartmer?
It's just required that you approve this in the first meeting of the calendar year, which will be coming in the next meeting, so it's on action tonight, and it'll go action there. We do have a project in place right now. We're getting cost estimates to update the old bulletin board we have to a digital screen to be able to post those there, so we'll bring that to you in January.
Okay. Thank you. Can this item be moved to consent? It can. Is the board comfortable moving this to consent? Okay. So this item will move to consent. Okay, future agenda item, tasks, requests from the board. Oh, I'm sorry. Director Ott.
Thank you. As a board, we have seen in our personnel recommendations an increase in the number of terminations per board policy, and at the same time, we have heard from a couple of employees who believe that they have been perhaps mistreated in the way they have been dismissed, and they have expressed their concerns about that. So I was curious if we as a board could, well, let me preface it with one more thing. Deciding to terminate someone is not something I personally take lightly. And so I did make some inquiries, which President Malpacum can probably share with you, or I can, about at least one of the employees, and we'll be following up on another one. The employees have expressed that we don't care about them, and that in conversations I've had with one or two of them, and also that the process is unfair, or that they feel retaliated against, or that they did not have the ability to have representation when they were brought in with the district. So I was wondering if you all would be agreeable to have an update maybe on our HR practices, so we as a board can better understand what representation looks like, and when exit interviews are required, when they are not, because personally I think having an exit interview from every employee would be a good idea if they're exiting, even if they're terminated. So I recognize there are always two sides to every story, maybe more, but I do think that would be something that we could look at and better understand from our talent management department. So I'd like to invite you all in requesting that we put that as a future work session item.
Okay, thank you. So I have clarity in what your request is. You're talking about the practices in HR as far as employee termination goes, and what the representation looks like during those discussions? Okay.
Yes, particularly education support professionals, but I think that is relevant for every employee group as well.
Superintendent Gall, you have any comments on that?
The administration provided an HR update earlier in the year, so I'll wait for more direction from the board. I don't feel I'm at liberty to discuss personnel actions from the dais.
Okay, thank you. So you heard Director Ott's request for a work session agenda on the topic that she referenced. Is the board interested in that? Director Nelson, you want to comment on this? Yes. Go ahead.
Would it have to be a work session, or could it just be an email of, like a briefing of, here are our practices, this is the process that we follow? Because I think that might be a better starting place and hopefully less work for the team to, I mean, it's already established, here's how we handle stuff. And just, we are not that familiar with some of the practices.
Yeah, I will leave it up to the administration to figure out if it's going to be a work session or a report, but let them come up with the superintendent call is, but it is either work session or a report, either one of those acceptable. Is that acceptable to the board?
Start with the briefing.
Yeah, briefing. Is that, I need a show of thumbs. Oh, yeah, for a briefing. That's what it is. Okay. Briefing.
A briefing in person in work session? You're saying, or a briefing by email, which is
I was
more of
just
an email.
leaving that to Superintendent Gall to figure out what the best option is. If he can provide that in the monthly report that comes to the board, the Mars report. Did I get that right? Mars, right? The Mars report that comes to the board, then the board is open to that. That is fine. If the superintendent's if Superintendent Gall and his team feel that this is a work session agenda item, he can bring it to the work session as well. I will leave that option at the discretion of the superintendent. Unless the board has strong preference, this come as a work session. Okay, I don't see a strong preference right now for a work session. So,
can I mention that given that employees are concerned about this situation, according to the feedback I'm getting, I think that it would be beneficial to do it in public so that everybody is hearing the same thing and they hear the board's concern, if there is any, about the same issues. But if the board would prefer to do it in an email, I mean, that's something that is also publicly requestable.
Okay,
and
so I will first ask the board for your request on a public session, work session, and if there is support for that work session on this topic. You want to talk again, Director Nelson? Yes.
I have a kind of playing a devil's advocate side that I just want to put out there, that when someone's terminated, you're generally not going to be very pleased with the situation. So I don't know what you're hearing. I don't know the number of people you're hearing from, if this truly is like an epidemic or if it's a one-off. I guess I just wonder how much air to give to something like this, that somebody, I don't know what the process is. Like, we have an ombudsperson to support when there is questionable procedures taking place within the district. So, you know, perhaps that's actually the better route to take rather than it being the board getting involved. I just think we need to have faith in our staff that they're following procedures. And if it is that we're getting a lot of noise, then we absolutely want to correct for that. But I also recognize that sometimes people are just upset because of they don't agree, but maybe it was very founded that they were terminated. And so just wanted to put that out there.
Do you have, go ahead, Director.
Yeah, follow-up comments. You mentioned you don't know. And I think that's part of our problem is we don't know some of what HR does. And I think it would be just good information just for us so that we do understand how the system works. And we're not going to bring up particular personnel, I don't think, in such a work session. We know better. And honestly, it's part of why I held off tonight, bringing up a couple of folks' names on the personnel recommendations. Is yes, we should trust the system, but we can also verify. So acknowledging that we don't know and we can learn, I think, is a valuable thing. We're talking about people's livelihoods, and I want to be well informed about exactly what board policies are being used, since there is this uptick, and maybe some people will say it's just cleaning house. Okay, but again, these are the people I'm understanding that are being terminated at this time have been here years and have not been written up and have not had they have not had anything but decent evaluations. So whether it's ESP or teachers or our administrative staff, I want to know more. And I think having additional background from our administration would be valuable that way.
I'm happy to set up a one-on-one for Director Ott with Dr. Comfort and Ms. Jen Harris, if she'd like to dig into some of these more specifically, instead of taking up the rest of the board's time on this.
Okay, I do have two other board directors. Are you talking about this topic, Director Bankers?
It was suggested that perhaps the administration put out some information, and I would like to see that first before I want to give time for things that we need to get done to move this district forward. So I would be in favor of having some sort of a response from staff, whether it's in the superintendent's report, whether it's an email, but something that just kind of covers what we're doing. And should it rise to information that's not clear or that needs to be fully investigated, pulled apart, whatever you want to use, then we could go forward. But at this point, I don't want to give time, board time to go any farther.
Okay, thank you. Director Hafley?
I would.
Is it on the same topic?
It is.
Okay.
I would support Director Ott's request, and in response to Director Nelson, we don't know, so let's find out. These are real people, real livelihoods, so I would be interested in being a part of that meeting as well.
Okay, so to summarize this conversation, Director Ott made a request, and several board members have offered their thoughts, and then Superintendent Gall also offered to set up a meeting, a private meeting, one-on-one with Dr. Comfort, so the questions and concerns that Director Ott can be addressed. In addition, the board will be presented, if I heard that information right, some type of information in the monthly report. When I say some type of information, it is specific to what Director Ott requested, and Director Hafley also wanted to find out the same information that Director Ott requested. And Director Hafley, are you comfortable with that one-on-one meeting that Superintendent Gall suggested?
Yes.
Okay, so right now, board, I'm proposing this, and I need the thumbs up from you in that regard. I have 2 directors that are interested in getting further details on what Director Art set forth, and what Superintendent Gall offered is that since it's only those 2 directors at this time who wants that additional information, they will meet with the appropriate district administration to get that information. The rest of the board would get a briefing on this. Is that good? Okay. Superintendent Gall, you got that? Okay, thank you. Any other agenda items at this time? Director Art again.
Thank you. Last night, when several of us met with CSEA, one of the teachers afterwards mentioned what we were serving our students for breakfast. And I know Director Jorgensen has brought this up previously, and Director Nelson and I went on a tour actually once to see what are our kids eating. And we have a great salad bar, we know that. Director Hafley and I were featured in a photo with one of our newsletters. But I think there might be interest amongst the board also at some point, and it doesn't have to be soon, in learning more about the funding behind what we serve our students and the food requirements behind what we serve our students, particularly for breakfast. And I invite Directors Jorgensen and Nelson to weigh in if they have any thoughts on that. But I just wanted to put that out there. Doesn't have to be this month, next month, or the next few, but maybe before the end of the year. And looking to next year's either budget or set up for kitchens in the morning or whatever it takes.
Okay. Okay. Can I have a both thumbs up on that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Superintendent Gall, you got that?
At the will of the board.
Okay. Thank you. Seeing Director Carey.
Sorry, Parth. It took me a second to pull this up. So this is circling back to the question on employee termination. It took me a moment to find this, which is why I didn't have this 3 minutes ago, so I'm sorry about that. The question, I will be the first to say I'm not entirely sure the exact procedure by which those come to our level, but when I take a look at policy CBA, we pretty clearly delegate to the superintendent personnel management. I don't really see anything good coming about the board kind of getting into the weeds and interfering in operations in this way. I am not supportive of us basically getting back into something that we delegate explicitly in policy to the superintendent.
Thank you. I think we resolved this previously, unless the board has any other comments on it. I understand your concerns. Ultimately, the board has to, the final authority in hiring and firing, it comes in front of the board. We do delegate, and we do trust our administration to do their respective jobs, and human resources and the ombudsperson and all of them. If something rises up to our level where our input is required, we talk to Superintendent Gall about it. Otherwise, we trust our administration to take care of this matter. But 2 board members expressed specific interest, so Superintendent Gall offered those 2 board members an option to meet with this team, and we will leave it at that and move on. Anything else from the board at this point in time? Seeing none. Calendar review. We have possibly upcoming meetings on December 11th and 18th. I'm not sure of the agenda yet. We will be meeting, Vice President Hafley and I will be meeting with Superintendent Gall. Both those meetings would be as needed. We are in the middle of the holiday season, and Superintendent Gall would let me know if there is a reason that we would have either of those work sessions or a special meeting that may be necessary. With that, we do have executive session. Yes.
So I just need to let you know that I will be here December 18th.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So we have two board members, Director Jurgensen and Director Bankers, will not be here on December 18th. We'll take that into consideration. You will not be able, both of you will not be able to attend remotely as well?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, we do have executive session at the end of the meeting today, and we scheduled the executive session at the end of the meeting because this would give us a little bit more time to discuss what's on front of the board without having to feel pinched for time at the very beginning of the meeting. Director Hafley, can you please make the motion to move into executive session?
I move that the Board of Education convenes into executive session to discuss legal advice per CRS 24-6-402-4B, particular matter, Colorado Springs Education Association, educational support professionals, and executive professional employee group handbooks and contracts, and negotiations per CRS 24-6-402-4E, particular matter, master agreement with the Colorado Springs Education Association.
Second. Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The board will move into executive session. And before we move into executive session, Dr. Weiss, there was somebody that mentioned that District 11 is going to be in the Parade of Lights. Festival of Lights. Okay, so if the community wants to participate in the Festival of Lights and board members as well, and cheer us on, yes. We will move into executive session and we'll reconvene in public session if necessary. Or we will reconvene in public session because it's on the board agenda. Thank you. Okay, wow, that's loud. Maybe it's the empty room. The board has returned. The board has returned from executive session, and the time is 9:35 p.m. And we are reconvening in public session as again, and the boardroom is empty with only Mr. Coughlin and our security out here joining us, just for people at home that are awake and tuning into this. There is no further board business at this time. Seeing no further board business, if there are no objections, the meeting will adjourn at 9:36 p.m. Thank you.